and welcome back to episode 5 of our Vaesen Christmas special, Christmas at Kullebo Farm, written by Matthias Rebo and GM'd by our wonderful friend Joel. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. If you have, then please do like the show and please subscribe. We've got some more content coming very soon, some more actual plays. It's going to be great fun. Let us know what you think of this scenario. It was written for Sweden Rolls, and we're very grateful that they allowed us to do our own interpretation of it. So please check them out. Please come and talk to us on Discord, etc. But let's get the ball rolling, shall we? And welcome to our wonderful friends, to Joel.
Hi.
To Chris.
Hello.
And to Johnny. And yeah, I'm really eager to just sort of dive straight in. Just a quick reminder, Vaesen is a folklore horror role-playing game written by Fria Ligan and set in this case in the Mythic North, which is sort of Sweden and Norway and all that sort of stuff. There is a Britain expansion, if you like, that's coming. The Kickstarter was completed for that, but there will be, of course, late pledges for that during 2022, I guess, and then it will be out, and we'll all rejoice. Yay! Let's get straight in though, and I will just do a little bit of a reshuffling and get everyone in the correct places on the screen. Happy Christmas, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful time. It is now after Christmas as we record this, but still very, very much in 2021. And you're, as our wonderful GM, thank you very much for coming back. I'll hand over to you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, and I'm gonna grab that ball you sent me with this handover and throw it right back at some of you, because we ended in the living room at Kullebo. You had been looking at the tapestry that was in the same style and fashion as the tapestry in Linnea's room. What did it show and how did you interpret it? Arne?
What we saw was I think we'd spoken with a few of the NPCs and seen, and they'd said how they interpreted certain things. There was a bird on there, a weather vane, which we believe might lead us to the barn. There's a weather vane on the barn, and there was a woman. It seemed like a woman, offering up a bowl of red, possibly hair. And we know that Clara from Kullebo Farm, she has red hair. Coincidence? But these tapestries were done a long time ago. I think Clara, when she was a young girl, seemed to remember them. So yeah, it's difficult to make an interpretation from them. But that's the way I saw it. That's the way Arne saw it.
Yes, does either Ephraim or Sigleg anything to add to that?
I think like the heated discussion that kind of evolved around and kind of before that, I suppose it was kind of throughout the whole dinner, wasn't it? Yeah. That confrontation is over this specific land. For some unknown reason, he can't use his lifelong skills of being a farmer elsewhere, from what Clara was saying, and he comes here every year, and it's like, why is this farm doing so well when she can't use any of her equipment? Is kind of the main thing.
Yeah, that's how I'm taking it as well.
Yeah. And kind of, I think previously there's a little bit of confusion in terms of naming of the stables. I think that's kind of led us to think actually the barn, like literally the barn, is not being used because she wants to fund it and kind of, I presume, make repairs, maybe make it watertight or something like that. But there's some reason that we didn't kind of click first time around, did we? The fact that there's the horses and the sheep and the pigs and the equipment all in the same building.
It's in the stables.
Yeah.
Most of it.
So I think we missed that, and I think that's probably our next port of call as a investigation of what's potentially going on.
Yeah, certainly probably worth just spelling out for our viewers. We had obviously a little bit of a chat between sessions, and I think we had thought that we got both outbuildings as one building. So yeah, a little bit of a revelation when we said, "Oh, we've been to the barn." No, you've been to the stables. Oh, okay. So let's do that.
And for once, it wasn't my bad English that screwed up.
Absolutely
You
not.
assumed it was my bad English interchanging those words.
Your
So
English is
I'm
way
innocent.
better than mine.
It's not like the time we played Bud Kexon and I said sledge.
No, it's not like that.
It's not like that, because that is basically sledgehammer and sledge in Swedish. You say either slägghammare, sledgehammer, or you say slägga, sledge.
Yeah.
So
No,
we had a bit of a
sled,
misunderstanding there, where they were like,
No,
"Can we
not so.
ride it?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna pull things on it." No. And then I had someone get hit with it, and it acted weird. But for this once, I'm innocent.
Just for once.
For now.
For now. I'm
So-
gonna be guilty of a lot else.
So I agree. I think one thing we should probably do is we should check out this building that we've not been to.
But Arne has almost been to it. He's
Arne
been
has
inside.
almost been to a lot of places.
Yeah, he's been in
That's-
the ramp leading up to the top.
That's where Aegon disappeared to. Okay. And again, I think I presumed it was the stables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the ramp leading up to the top floor of the barn. And in a big barn like that, it probably is used to pull up hay to the top floor to store it over the winter, and then just drop it down to the bottom floor where it might be used.
Can I ask a question of the GM before we leave the kind of the house? I think we're currently inside, aren't we? We know the farmhands went back to their abode across the way.
Yeah.
Does that mean everybody else kind of drifted apart off to bed and we're left, or are we all kind of together still?
You're still together, not the farmhands. They retreated.
Okay.
But you three are still in the living room, as is Jens and Clara. They were the ones talking about the tapestry with you. Clara was the one interpreting the sun calendar sign as midwinter solstice. And Jens recognized the weather vane. They never really thought about that tapestry because it's always been there. But once your interest got piqued about it, they looked at it as well. And yeah. Other than that, they didn't have any specific input on it.
Okay.
The reason it piqued your interest is that it's in the same style as the one you saw in Linnea's, in the room where Linnea is sleeping.
Can I turn to Clara and just say to her, Miss Clara, would you mind if myself and my friends took a short evening stroll just around the farm, just to clear our heads, give you some peace for a while?
Of course not. I fully understand it. I'm sorry you came to such an argumental state at this moment. She looks quite pissed at Jens. It seems that me and my brother has some things to clear out. So, yes, perhaps it would be good if you took a walk. Your beds are already made, so when you get back, you can sleep in the chamber. And once again, she indicates the larger bedroom in the house. I'm going to have a talk with my brother in the meanwhile.
I've heard that families can be trying.
Yes.
Thank you for the beds. We will be back in a short while. Arnie, Ephraim, would you mind accompanying me on a short walk? This time it might be best to wear your shoes.
I could do with a stroll. I need to clear my head.
I'm with you, and I'm gonna go grab my shoes to put on.
You can wear them on your head.
Do you grab a lantern each, or?
Well,
I
if you're
have
offering.
I have one. A lantern.
Yeah, they in the hallway. There were a lot of lanterns in this house.
Perfect. I'll grab one.
Yeah.
Can I also grab my revolver out of my bag as well?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I would like to know what you're carrying with you on this small stroll, as you were putting it.
Yeah. I think as I get my coat and my belongings, I'll grab my revolver, slide it into a pocket, and then put on my coat and try and make it not look too obvious. But a lantern and my revolver are my two items I'm taking with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arne?
I'm not sure that Arnie would grab his rifle at this point. I don't think Arnie's convinced that the spirits. Would he? He
Maybe
did. He couldn't swallow. He had the porridge, and that was like a direct attack on him. I think he might actually urge on the side of caution here, and I think he'd definitely have his combat knife around his waist, which is reasonably well hidden. You wouldn't look out of place on a hunter. But I think he'd possibly pick up his rifle as well and sling it over his shoulder. Grab the lantern as well.
So he brings the rifle, but he doesn't carry it. Am I correct? Like holding it in his hands. He's got it over his shoulder in.
Yeah, I think he feels like he's not going to need it, but he'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So he'd just sling it over his shoulder, probably still in its covering, its fur covering, its leather covering or something. Yeah, non-aggressive stance.
Fully understandable concerning Arne's backstory in the woods with a huge wild boar and no rifle at that point. Ephraim.
I think Ephraim will bring his pistol, but he won't have it necessarily in his hand because he's well aware that if, for example, Berta and Lasse happen to be walking around, or if Jagon, their son, happens to, for some reason, get out of their dwellings, then it's going to not be a very friendly sight. I was toying with bringing my saber as well, but I don't think there's any kind of easy way of doing that without it looking really suspicious. Because it's wrapped up in a blanket with my bag, etc. And we're going under the auspice of just having a stroll, right? So we're not saying we're going on patrol. So I'll have my pistol about my person, loaded but not cocked and ready to fire, and it'll be in my pocket or on a holster or something like this.
You do realize that there is no way that Clara believes you're going for a stroll to take a stroll.
Yeah.
It's more to avoid their fighting and having the decorum to leave them alone when they are showing their ugly sides to each other.
We've all seen family politics before. I take before we leave, I do take one last look at the tapestry, and mindful of my presumption that the bowl was hair. Maybe I'll just say to either to Jens or to Clara, this is really interesting. I noticed that the weather vane, which is you thought might be the barn outside, but what do you think's in the bowl within the tapestry?
What the tapestry looks like. It's a 3-part tapestry.
Hmm.
In the first part, what looks like a woman
Hmm.
is cutting off her long red hair.
Hmm.
In the second part, it shows her offering it to a grey figure with horns.
So she's literally just offering the hair out like this. Okay, I
Yes.
misunderstood. Okay. Then I won't say that because I now understand what the tapestry looks like. Thank you. So I just take another glance again, and yeah, it still looks like hair. Wonder if the hair that was trapped in the well would suffice. What did we do with that hair? Is it still trapped in the well? In the mechanism of the well?
From my recollection, the young lady, I can remember her name now. It was
Bertha.
Bertha. Yes, sorry, Bertha. She was blonde or blonder, not particularly red-haired. So Arne doesn't think that this would work.
I might also suggest that it might have to be the person who cuts the hair has to offer it.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Willingly given.
Yes.
Mm.
So with that, I'll kind of discard that thought.
Yeah, third.
These two voices appear in the back of my head saying,
There is a third picture in the tapestry, and that shows the grey figure. Now, let's see. Having what looks like red hair or a red hat. So the woman offers her newly cut red hair to this thing or this grey creature that then either grows red hair itself or puts it on his head.
It's almost to the sacrifice is to then give him some color of his own. Should we go to the barn?
Let's take a walk.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you step outside in the snow. The only light you see is from the building you just left and the lantern's light playing in the snow. Small snowflakes falling from the sky. It's still not that cold, but a couple of degrees below zero, enough to make a very gentle snowfall. Still, the only tracks you see going towards the barn is the back and forth tracks made by Arne and Egon during the pig incident. And the side of the barn, I think that's the term, the short side of the barn, where the ramp is, that is the one closest to the building, and the main building. And you see, as you approach the barn a little bit more, the condition of the barn is pretty bad. The best state it's in, it's to the left where it closed the ramp. There is a door basically in the middle of the barn, and you don't even need to use the door to get inside the barn because there's a huge hole to the right and there are holes in the roof. Mostly the right side of the barn, when you look at it from the front side, standing in front of the door, that's the worst condition. The left side is pretty okay, but it's not great. And right now you're standing outside of the door, looking at the door and at the hole to the right of the door. And on the far left side, you can still see the big ramp leading up to the top floor of the barn. What do you do?
Arne, these were your prints when you came to get the boy. Did you manage to look around? Is it worth going up the ramp, or is everything downstairs?
I don't know, Siglug. Underneath the ramp, there is a small root cellar where they keep. They use as a sort of a pantry, but it's quite cobwebby in there. The boy seemed to think that the spider webs protected him from any sort of spirits. It felt like a safe place to him, but we didn't go up the ramp. We didn't look inside the actual barn, either the top or the bottom.
Well, I will go up the ramp. You welcome to join me if you can. Not tread too heavily. It looks rather dangerous.
Given the state of the barn, tread lightly. Watch your step. We don't know how well that top level is, how sturdy it is, especially in the dark here.
Indeed. And I'll take my lantern and I'll kind of make my way forward as daintily as I can on any sturdy-looking struts, wood planks.
Well,
See if I can see the top.
Yeah, the ramp itself is on the outside of the barn.
Okay.
And that is dirt and stone. So that
cool.
is a very sturdy construction.
Perfect. So if I make my way to the door, I presume there's a door at the top.
You see a door anyway, and you see a lot of vines covering it.
Okay. Can I pull at some of those to reveal the door?
I'm just going to stop you there, but we're going to try that one later. What do the other two do during his walk up the ramp?
I'm actually interested to look in the root cellar.
Yeah, so you go to the small door leading into the ramp. So while Siglug is walking above you, you enter the root cellar. Arne?
I think as Ephraim is heading to the root cellar, I would, and having been there before, I would feel almost obliged to sort of go open the door for him, just show him at least inside. I don't think Arnie thinks there's anything particularly special in there, so he'd probably quickly show Ephraim and then say, "Come, let's go check out the bottom of the barn."
Yeah. So while you show Ephraim the root cellar, you're inside of it. You hear Siglug's footsteps on the ramp, or someone moving. You assume it's Siglug anyway. Siglug, you start putting at wines. They are resisting. So you pull a little further. Could I have a force roll?
Sure.
It's tough, and they are covering the door completely.
3 + 5, 8 dice. There's got to be a success in there, right?
You're a strong fella.
Yeah, you say that. I'm not gonna force it with a reroll, but I will acknowledge the fact that they're kind of like, oh, this is hard. Maybe one of the others has a knife, and I'll kind of take a step
pull,
back.
And you pull a little further, and it's really like they are fighting back, resisting your pull. Could I have a vigilance roll as well?
Certainly can. Vigilance is 2 and 3, so 5. Hey, 1 success.
Something is approaching you from in the corner of Rye. You see that something is approaching you from both sides, and when you turn to look, it's wines. The same kind of wines that you're trying to force yourself through at the top of the ramp, moving towards you with thorns and everything. They are black, as are the ones you're looking at. They're moving towards you. 5, 4.
I'm gonna turn my lantern towards them and shout out to the two below me. It's like, I need a hand here, and I'll try to step back out of the way of them.
Yep. And since you spotted them before they reached you, you managed to step back and they kind of blend into the rest of the vines and it's not moving anymore.
Oh, okay.
You two in the root cellar, you hear Siglug's shout for help. And that is probably the most distressed you heard him so far.
Yep. Yeah, I think straight away we'll, I'll certainly abandon operation and run for the ramp. Siglug, you
Can I
okay?
ask-
Go on, Johnny.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a very quick question because I can't remember. The young boy, Egon, when he went to his safe space, he had a small figurine of the grey one, and he was wrapping the spider web around it. Did he leave that there on his little makeshift table, or did he
Yes.
take that with him?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah. I think it is. I don't remember if you told him to take him with him, but otherwise he has put it back since. So it's there. That's where I keep it.
Yeah. I think I will probably pick it up then and grab a handful of cobwebs on my way out.
So probably I push straight past Joanna and run for the ramp. Siglug, are you okay?
You'll see me at the top of the ramp with my lantern pointing towards the door. I say, those vines, they resisted me pulling them out the way of the door. I think they were next to me at one point and they were moving. Do either of you have a knife?
Not on me. I can go and get my my saber if we need to.
Well,
I have my knife here with me.
If you want to try and make your way, unless you think there'll be a ladder or a way up inside. This door does not want to fit me through.
I think at this point I'd probably hand you the knife and leave the decision up to you. You seem like quite a strong man. Probably have a better chance of success with your rolls.
Let's see. His logic is about average, so I'll pass me the knife then. I will give it one more go. Somebody hold the lantern for me.
I'll hold up both lanterns.
I will grab the knife and I'll try to carve the shape of the door into the vines down one of the sides, maybe. Just quickly try and
you start cutting. It's tough cutting, even for a strong man like you. It doesn't feel like you expect something as brittle looking like this. And you're even having a sharp knife. And you cut it. And Ephraim is holding both lanterns. You are quite certain that they are growing back at an alarming speed. You cut in one direction, and when you start cutting in the other direction, it's starting to grow back. It's not as quick as growing back as you are at cutting, but it's not far from it.
I'll turn to the other two. I don't think I can do this fast enough. Every time I make an incision, the vines appear to grow near on immediately.
But they are thinner, though, than the ones you cut. The new ones.
Do we not have another knife? Somebody can help me with the other side.
Maybe go on, Donnie.
So just very quickly, player to GM. I don't know if it makes any difference, and it might just help me understand whether these spiderwebs actually do anything. I wrapped in the previous session some spiderweb around the handle of the knife.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any difference to the cutting or...
It doesn't.
No. Okay.
I know you brought some spider webs because Arne is a firm believer in the spider webs.
I'll be right
So-
back, and I'm going to go back to the house.
Okay. I think while he's kind of running off to get an extra knife to cut through them extra fast, I will keep trying and slowly make my way around the edge of the door. Maybe.
Yeah.
If I try using some spider web to pull them away, does that have any sort of effect? Is there any sort of magical? No, nothing happening there.
Your belief in the spider web is strong, but it doesn't help you in this. Siglag is hacking away wildly with a knife, and Ephraim comes back to the top with the saber.
Yep.
And you start shopping together.
Yep.
Let's see. One side each. I'm going to use force for this one. So you can both roll force and tell me how many successes you get each.
Damn, 1.
Also 1.
You're hacking away wildly. Arne, where are you positioned in this?
I think I'm probably holding lanterns. I've probably put the figurine in my pocket, and I'm just one under my chin, just trying to give them as much light as possible. They're probably either side of the door cutting, and I'm sort of probably in the middle, just putting light on everything.
Yeah. So I would say that Ephraim and Siglag, you're probably not that attentive to your environment. Is that
Absolutely?
correct assumption?
We're trying
Yes.
to cut the vines quicker than they're growing.
Yeah. So Arne, could you give me a vigilance then? And only you.
Okay, so I've got 2 vigilance and 4 logic, so that's 6 dice in total. Is that right?
Yes.
No 6s. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to use this. 1 to 3, it's Ephraim.
I was going to say, did Anna want to push the roll?
Can I do that?
You can. You will get a condition.
Should be either angry, frightened, hopeless. It'll be like a background thing in the back of your mind of how your character is feeling as a result of really trying harder to.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that something the player chooses? Or is that something the GM kind of...
You choose this together with me.
Okay.
So it needs to make sense narratively for me.
Yeah.
The rule says the player chooses, but I reserve the right to object.
Yeah.
But I will,
I'm guessing it's
as long
gonna...
as it makes sense, I'm going to let you choose.
I'm guessing it's going to be either frightened or hopeless. I did get a 6, though. 1 6, a single success.
The vines are not only growing back where they are cutting, they are growing out and to the side and towards the 2 cutters. It's very close to both of them coming from the sides. Kind of like it did previous Siglag, but it's taking the longer way out to reach you from a side you're not expecting. It's very close. Arne, what do you do?
Stop cutting! Move back, move away. The vines, they're growing towards you.
Arne,
We've nearly
which
got it.
condition
Look,
did you take?
much thinner.
Say again, sorry?
Which condition is Arne struck by for the push of the roll?
What were the choices? Was there frightened and hopeless, angry?
Angry. That's it. But you could probably be quite frightened if you're seeing all these vines.
I think frightened would be the shock of seeing these things.
So you can mark frightened on your character sheet.
Yep.
Can we try and barge the door at this point, do you think?
I think that might be our only way out.
Push forward.
Quick, shoulders into the door. Oh.
Anyone watching the camera will have seen us do that in unison.
Totally.
So for that one, then I'm gonna make you do a combined roll, and I assume Siglug is the one making the lead.
If it's going to be force, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be force, and for each of the guys helping, you're gonna get one extra die.
Okay. So that takes me from 8 to 9 dice.
And you're gonna need. I'm gonna be cynical and tell you how many you need for this one, because not only do you need to break open the door, you need to force past these weird wines.
Pile the pressure on.
I need 4 successes.
That's almost impossible. Come on,
Give me a moment. 1, 2,
Come on.
3.
Oh, push
Push
it.
it.
3.
Push it.
I will have to.
Did you get an assist from both Johnny and from myself on that, by the way?
No,
Yes.
it's just the one from you because you're barging the door with me.
No, Arne as well. So 1 extra die.
Let me roll that 1 extra dice. No, it's a 5. So I will take a condition, and I get to keep the 3, don't I? I can choose that.
Yes.
So I can re-roll the other. In this case, 7 dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need 1 more.
I got 2 more, so I have 5 successes. But I will probably take.
That probably hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be split between battered and wounded, but I think battered probably makes more sense than wounded.
Yeah, battered makes more sense in this one.
Yeah,
throwing a shoulder out.
Yeah.
So all 3 of you charges up the ramp with Siglug in the lead, and you other guys pushing Siglug into the vines that are sharp, have thorns and everything. But you crashes through them, breaks through the door. That is it isn't a rotten door. It's not totally broken, but it's old. And this is enough for you to bumble through. All 3 of you ends up on the floor inside. The lanterns are outside on the ramp because you can't do this move with lanterns. You're in the dark of a room.
I don't know. Why did you leave the lanterns behind, you idiot? It's not what I said.
So you can't really make out anything in the room other than
Does anybody have a match?
You have the lantern standing on the ramp outside.
I'm not going out there again. Not until we have a better way to get rid of those vines.
Are these lanterns the have the vines grown across the doorway, or is the doorway out clear?
As of right now, it's cleared. You shattered the vines with this brutal force attack.
Okay.
It got shattered in all directions. They're starting to slowly grow back, but they did cover the entire door. And not anymore. And the door isn't there. Maybe someone could reach.
Be quick. Before they grow.
Come on.
Do it.
Let's grab them.
Let's do it.
You actually managed without a problem to get a hold of your lanterns. And as you bring them into the loft, is the term for this, the vines start growing back. It's not completely covered, but they are. It takes a lot longer this time than last time when you were cutting. But they are still growing back. And you are standing in a loft. But it feels like it doesn't cover the entire length of the barn. And in this loft, there are a lot of, what's the name? It's not pen, but it's compartments where you can store the hay. It's not called pen, is it? What's it called in English?
I don't know if it has a proper word. Compartments.
Compartments worked for me.
Yeah.
So it's not walls per se, but you can stack the hay bales separately in here. you see there are small hatches in the floor by the hay bales. Or sorry, there are no hay bales, but where there should be hay bales. In the first two that you actually see from where you're standing, there's also a small table and a small chair with tools on the table. And it's small. It's not much bigger than Egon's was in the ramp, in the cellar, root cellar.
Annie, is this where you found Aegon?
No, he was under the ramp. He was in the root cellar. This is not his table or chair.
And he didn't say he came up here. Ever?
You saw how much trouble we had with the vines ourselves. 3 grown men. I don't think the young man would find it.
Maybe the small boy would fit through one of those hatches. Relatively easier than I.
It's possible. It is possible. Can we approach the table and chair and see what it is that's on the table there?
Yep.
Do it cautiously, obviously.
Yeah, there's a small sickle, a small hammer, and oh shit, I don't have the English word for it. Mason, so a chisel. Chisel, that's the name.
Chisel, okay, yeah.
A small chisel for wood carving and things like that. And you see that the compartments are empty, all of them, except the one that has a small chest in it.
I'll head over to that chest.
And as I said before, at the end of the room, as far as you can see, there's a solid wall. And that wall probably isn't the end of the barn. If the barn is estimated to like 20 meters, this is maybe 7 meters from where you entered, and that's a hard stop.
If you've both been in the lower level, did you see anything that would indicate a wall? Is it divided?
None of you have been in the barn. That's the thing.
Yeah, we were in the root cellar. This is almost a
and they're not combined.
Structure. Yeah. What is in this chest? How large is the chest?
It's quite small, like 20 centimeters by something like that. 20 centimeters by 10 centimeters and maybe 10 centimeters
on
high.
On the tape on the floor?
On the floor in one of the pens.
So I'll kneel down.
Also some hay in that pen.
I'll kneel down. I'll put a lantern down next to it, and I'll go to open it.
As you open it, inside you find a small stack of hats.
Very small hats.
Very small. Egon size, kind of. Okay. Egon size hats. So for a child, a little bit larger child, but not a grown-up. No way they could wear this one. And there's 8 of them. Where the ones at the very bottom are totally gray. And as you get more to the top, they get less and less gray, starting to get reddish, brownish, and redder. And the very last one is still quite red. Kind of the same color as Miss Clara's hair.
Yep. And I'll respectfully close the chest, and I'll come back to the group, and I'll explain what's in there. This is. I feel like my eyes are opening for the first time in 30 years, 15, 20, 25 years probably, since the incident on the battlefield. And I just say, well, it feels like maybe the old ways have still got sway here. The chest has got many hats, from grey to red, and they're all the same shape as that in the tapestry. Very small. I thought to bring them over here, but I don't know. I feel inclined to leave it where it is.
May I ask
No use
who
for them.
is closest to the wines at the moment and the hole?
I haven't moved.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Siglag is the first one to hear, but I think you other will notice as well. There is from the main building a sound of fighting, and not arguing, physical fighting. There is shouts. You hear panicky shrieks. That sounds like Clara. And angry voices, heated voices, things, basically sounds of a fight. And you were closest, Siglag, so you can make a roll for vigilance to make out if you hear any words in that fighting.
Okay. 2 successes.
Since you are closest and very successful with the die, you other two don't even get the chance to roll. In the fighting, you hear a voice shouting, "Hold her down! Hold her! Bring the scissor!" And there is fighting.
Gentlemen, I believe the images on the tapestry may be reenacted in the house. We should probably head back. Or should we just let it play out? If it's what is needed.
Hmm.
In the tapestry, the woman was cutting her own hair. I fear that
Really.
if it's taken forcefully, that the sacrifice would be lost. I think we should intervene.
Do we think there's any way that we could even convince Lady Clara to do this willingly, though?
We must try.
She is
We have
skeptic.
She's invited us here. She's been a decent host to us, and I believe that we hold some sway, at least. The fact that her aunt obviously has some sort of visions, and she's invited us on her aunt's say-so. If we say that we believe this is the correct course of action to solve the problems, there is a chance she may listen. I can't say yes for certain, but
her family is going to take the hair regardless. At least if she does it by her own hand, the haircut won't be so bad. Let's get out there.
Quick haste. We don't have much time.
No. As you start to move out, the sounds of battle has ebbed off. This was quite a long discussion in a heated situation. So you start moving down the ramp, and out from the main building comes Lasse, Bertha, and Jens. Jens leading the trio, triumphantly waving along strands of hair, fiery red hair, a big chunk of it, running up towards the barn, shouting, "We have it! We have it!"
You idiots.
Jens, stop. Are you sure this is the right way to do it?
It's the only way.
But by
Stay
force.
out of our businesses.
But is force the right way to do it?
It must be the hair. And they are coming up to outside of the barn now.
You've seen the tapestry. The offering is made by the donor in good faith. This is not the way of the tapestry.
Let's see. I'm gonna need to see one skill. Yeah, you can all roll for vigilance. Or, sorry, I'm going to say this. You can choose which skill you would prefer to roll to notice a Vaesen that is not trying to be seen at the moment.
I think vigilance is possibly the right one, yeah.
Yes.
Might be, but you might have other skills connected to your type of character that I could be persuaded to be used for this.
Force?
No.
Can I use ranged combat, please?
No.
I'll stick with vigilance for me.
Vigilance as well. I've got one success.
None.
One success and
One.
Just one success.
There is something is moving right ahead of Jens and Berta and Lasse. The air is moving, but you don't see anything there. But the air moved, right? It's like if you have really hot air and it moves, you can see the air. You
It's
get
like a
that
haze.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yes. But we're talking a couple of degrees below zero. There is no way that is happening. And then it materializes in front of your eyes and you all see it. Bertha gives up a frightened shriek and hides behind Lasse. Lasse clutches something but stands firm, and Jens looks triumphantly. What you see is a small grey thing individual. It looks like a really, really old man, but it's 1 meter, 1 meter, 10 centimeters high, no more than that, wearing all grey clothes with a reddish grey hat on his head and horns sticking out, and extends his hand towards Jens. And Jens put the hair in this creature's hand. Are you still just standing on ramp, or are you still moving down? Where are you going while this is happening?
Cautiously
You can
moving
still see
closer,
it.
I think.
Yeah, probably be bottom of the ramp. Maybe.
Yeah. You're moving closer to where they are standing in a semicircle, facing this creature, this thing. It looks at the hair. It scrutinizes the hair. And its face shows displeasure. It throws the strands of hair in the snow. Too short! Too short! Not enough for the deal. Who will it be? Are you moving closer?
I think I probably am.
Yeah.
Sigurd is not this
Nope.
this stern-looking little thing. For all of you that comes close enough to be addressed by him, you are all including in this sweeping stare and pointing. Who will it be? Who will uphold the deal?
I'm very tempted just to point at someone. I might wait for Jens to speak up, being head of the family, I suppose.
Yeah.
Jens looks confused and a little scared. Probably because he thought he did what was needed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And Sigleg is Sigleg is the one holding back a bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Sigurd is wounded as well, so
yeah. I'm gonna make you do a vigilance roll in advance, so we have that sorted before that action happens.
No successes again.
No successes. Do you want to push it?
Yeah, go on.
Then
Hold
you
on.
get another condition.
What do the conditions do in terms of my dice rolls? Nothing, right? It's until I get 3.
when you get 4
then the
conditions, you're
fourth.
broken.
Okay, cool. I've got a few more then.
I'm not sure how it impacts the dice roll. Just check.
It made no difference. No successes.
So then I know that you are not that observant other than on this grey figure.
Sure.
And he starts to look angry at this point. Who?
I'm going to mark hopeless.
Chris, you get 1 fewer dice for
In
each
that
category.
attribute.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll remember that. Cool. Well, that's my first mental one, so that works.
I'm inclined to look over to Sigurd and say, Sigurd, can you get Clara?
I will turn and run towards the house.
Because she's the only person that doesn't believe that this could be happening. And so she'll have no idea why any of this has occurred. Maybe she won't even be able to see this thing. Hence, what is the deal? What is the bargain?
Well, the tapestry, Clara's hair. That should be the one that sealed the deal.
Should have been given freely by the donor. And
Who? And he's getting even angrier. He stalks up to Arne. He grabs your coat and pulls you down and shouts in your face, "You? Will it be you?"
Maybe, but first, tell me, what is your side of the deal? What side of the deal have you upheld?
Everything. I keep my deal. And he throws you to the side. And this little sucker, he is strong. Really strong. Because when he throws it to the side, you basically fly a couple of meters tumbling through the snow. And he did it like no effort at all. He starts walking towards Jens. You are Kulle. Will you hold the deal? And Jens is in total shock and disbelief. He doesn't know what to do. Siglag, as you approach the house, the door opens. Clara steps out. Tears has been running down her eyes. She's not happy, to put it mildly. Her hair is cut, and it's not cut in a pretty way, as Ephraim said. There are tufts everywhere. She holds a big torch, and her eyes, you have never seen such steely determination in anyone's eyes, not even your former masters. And she starts walking toward the barn with the torch held high. I will not abide by this.
I think you may need to see this before you react in such a way. If anger is the way forward, then I am with you, but try to understand.
I'll burn it down rather than have it the old ways. And she keeps stalking towards very furiously towards the barn. She isn't running, but she's walking determinedly towards the barn, with the torch held high.
I will walk slightly faster than her, back towards the group, and I'll kind of like barge into the middle a little bit, and say to the little green guy, no, little grey guy, goblins on the brain. Yeah. If you want your home to be destroyed, then keep acting in the same way. If this hair is not good enough, so be it, but this will be your last night on this planet.
He looks at you. He looks around. He sees Clara stalking toward the barn with the torch held high, intent written all over her face. And he looks furious. This is pure hatred, pure anger in a way you never even seen. And he says, "No."
Then prepare to be homeless, and I'll pull out my revolver.
Clara keeps walking. What do Ephraim and Arne do at this point?
I think I will shout, "There is the donor of your hair. If it's too short, take it up with her."
Which was I sort of when I was thrown? Was I pushed sort of to the side that of the group that Clara is walking? Is Clara can
Yes.
also walk past me?
Yes,
Am I sort of
she's
closer to her?
She's going to walk past you.
I think I'd probably sort of scramble up to my feet, sort of get in her way and say, look over here. I understand you're determined for all this nonsense to end tonight, but it doesn't have to end in a way that does not benefit everybody. Let's see if we can make a deal, a new deal. I don't know if I need to roll anything, any sort of manipulation or...
I would like to see an insight. And you get 2 bonus dice since you're this close to Clara and her intentions are very, very obvious.
Observation, probably.
Yeah, that's the reading people in this game. It confuses the hell out of me, that naming of it. So observation.
Sorry, and two bonus die, you say?
Yes.
Just very quickly as well, I wanted to check. I have my frightened state. Does that mean I lose a die? Okay.
Yeah.
4 dice. No successes.
No successes. Yes.
Should I push? I'm going to push here, I think. I'm going to take hopeless as my... and I do get a success. One success.
You feel hopeless, and the reason you're feeling hopeless is that you realize that Clara has snapped. She's determined. She's going to burn it down. The barn is going to burn no matter what. There's no reasoning with Clara at this moment. As you have the condition hopeless, she has a condition as well, and that condition is basically pushing her forward in this line of action. Being attacked by your friends and trusted servants might do that to a person. Ephraim, you notice that the little grey one is picking up a long stick, staring angrily at Clara. He holds the stick and he goes, "No more steps. Mine."
I'll turn to Jens and I'll just say, Is this what you wanted?
No, I just wanted the farm to work. Like, I brought him the hair. And you notice he is quite distressed.
I feel, I think at this point, Ephraim feels that the course of action was probably quite straightforward. The instructions were right there. He's looking at this as military orders almost, you know. It's very simple and straightforward what should have been observed. And that wasn't followed. Clara has made her bed, and Jens doesn't deserve the farm either. And that the only person who has been true to his word is our little grey friend. So I'm just going to address the grey man and say again, she is the head of this farm. She is the donor of your hair.
Who?
Clara
Who will
Kullebo.
uphold the deal?
What is required for the deal?
He looks at you like
I'm
you're a bumbling buffoon first, and then he
friend.
realizes
I'm
you
not from
probably-
here.
You do my honors the way I require them, and I help the farm. As the deal has been with the generations of Kulle for this farm, or I will find somewhere else to be. Who?
You say you want somewhere else to be if this farm is not helpful. Jens, he could travel to your farm.
Yes.
Arne? Clara is coming up to your position now. She's going to pass you any second.
I'm going to block her.
You're going to block her. Yeah.
Even perhaps grab the torch, the lantern from her hand that she's holding high.
Yeah. So it becomes a little scuffle at that position. Could you roll for force, Arne?
I'm not rolling many dice here. But I do get a success. One success off of 2 die.
Yeah, and you manage to wrest the torch out of her hands. It sizzles in the snow. It doesn't go out because it's a good torch. But she drops the torch and you are stopping her from moving forward. And Jens looks at Siglag, at your statement about you take him. And it's kind of like a revelation in his eye. But is that possible?
You want to practice the old ways of farming, and our friend here will promise the success of your farm if you do, I'm sure. This seems a perfect resolution for you.
The grey one doesn't look quite as angry anymore as Clara drops the torch. And
Clara
he looks at Jens and goes,
Go.
You? You were saying, Ephraim?
Clara's ways may be misguided for this farm with our grey friend's need for tradition. But perhaps if our friend were to find somewhere new to live, Clara can try her new techniques in a fresh land here without hurting anyone.
And Jens shines up like yes, you can come with me. And the grey one looks at him a bit suspiciously and goes, You have a farm. Yes. You have cows. Yes, of course I have cows. You have a horse, a nice horse. Yes, yes. And a suspicious look creeps into the grey one's eyes. You have sheep? No, 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 no sheep. And the grey one looks confident, content. Good. Those smell.
Jens, remind him of your name, your full name.
I know. That's Kulle. Jens Kulle.
Jens Kulle. So you will maintain the tradition of helping a Kulle farm, but one that respects your tradition.
Respect is good. Jens will uphold the deal of the Kulle family. And Jens nods. And the grey one looks pleased. Then all of a sudden Jens starts screaming, shrieking in pain as his hair starts growing rapidly, faster than the vines even at the barn door. It's basically down to his waist in a matter of seconds. Blood pours from the scalp of his head. And then the grey one takes 2 quick steps forward, grabs the hair, cuts it with a small sickle, looks at it. This will do. And starts walking into the woods in a direction where you assume Jens' farm is. Clara is crying, fighting with Arne. Jens is whimpering from the pain, but he seems content. Bertha is still hiding behind Lasse. Lasse is starting to relax a little bit. And you see what he is holding in his hand. It's the old rusty nail.
Better, Lasse. You may need to consider going with Jens. I suspect Clara won't have you here anymore. But let's see what we can do.
They nod in agreement, realizing that they are probably not welcome after having attacked her or helping Jens attack her. And this is where we're going to end this scene. And we're going to cut into when you are meeting Linnea. Clara, after she comes to her feet, the small grey one has disappeared. She goes to her room, the chamber where you were supposed to sleep, and she locks the door, screaming that she doesn't want any of you on her farm after daylight hits tomorrow. And that includes, just a second, and that includes the staff as well. So that's where we're going to wrap up the Vaesen part of this one. And then we have a small epilogue at Linnea's room. And then we can have an epilogue to the scenario itself. So when you enter Linnea's room, she looks at you. This is where she's there again, mentally. There was a resolution, I assume, of this.
There was. It was not easy, and much damage was done within the family.
She looks a bit sad. She looks up, and I suspected as much. I didn't have the sight when I left the farm. So, but I suspected there was something here. And she riffles through a bag and brings out some papers that she shows you. It's descriptions about 3 different creatures. These are the ones I suspected from Clara's letter, but I couldn't be sure. And one of them basically describes the thing you've just seen and witnessed. The others do not. You don't recognize those tales. You know, I used to be part of a thing called the Society. We were a group of people gifted the way you are to be able to see and interact with these other creatures that existed before mankind. We used to solve things like this for mankind's sake. And I think it's needed again. I would like you to pick up the mantle that we left behind. Something tore the Society apart from inside. It hasn't been active for decades. But the outerworldly things, the Vaesens, things are changing. They are becoming more vicious in ways they didn't used to be. Mankind will need someone to either protect them or act as an intermediary to solve the issues that arise. Otherwise, conflicts will only arise and be more dangerous than they have been. You know, the world is changing. Those are not changing with us, and we clash. I would very much like you to meet me in Uppsala at Walpurgis night. That is Valborg in Swedish. And as you know, Walpurgis night has traditions that go further back than Christianity. That's a part of the year when the veil between their world and ours is the thinnest. That's why the students are celebrating that day with bangers and big fires, bonfires, and fireworks. It's to scare away the Vaesens. But they don't realize it. But humanity needs it. I need you to help me reclaim Castle Gyllenkreuz, the base of the Society. Could you please come and meet me in Uppsala, where I live, for Valborg?
When you say to come and meet you, am I right in thinking you don't mean just for a visit? Should I square my businesses and my affairs?
I think you would like to live in a castle, Ephraim, wouldn't you?
It will make a change from the barracks and a stone bed.
And to make
4
a
months,
real
yeah.
difference in the world.
4 months. Yes?
In 4 months' time.
I will be there.
Walpurgis night, April 30.
I'll be there.
I'll
I
meet
would
you.
be more than happy.
She looks a little bit guilty, and I spend most of my days at the asylum, and during this time people were not committed because they were insane. They committed themselves, a lot of them, to recover in the mental department, nerves and things like that. The equivalent of seeing a psychologist.
Yeah.
So I can't say the word. Yeah, you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you sorted the situation out. We'll see if Linnea stays or if she goes. She's very much like me.
Clara.
Clara. But she doesn't have the sight. But maybe one day she will.
Until that time, I think it's important that you spend as much time as you can with her. She will have lost trust in everyone but you. We are to leave almost immediately.
Yeah, I can understand that. What we do doesn't always come across as good in the eyes of the normal human world. So I fully understand that. But I expect to see you on Walpurgis night in Uppsala. And maybe some of the other letters I sent out will be answered as well, because humanity will need this.
Arne, will we see you there?
I'll be there. I'm intrigued.
And this is where we fade out from Kullebo.
Hey.
And
that was awesome.
Then we're going to do a small epilogue of what happens at both Kullebo and at Jens farm. For the Kullebo ones, I will need your input. Clara, would she stay or would she leave at this?
I think with everyone if she can find new help, I think she's invested so much in the technology, she might be really interested to see whether, now that everyone who's been telling her she can't do it has gone, maybe her technology now will work and she can prove everyone wrong.
She can't afford to let it fail either.
No.
Yeah, so she stays. Yeah, so the Kullebo farm itself, it takes it a couple of years to pick up the pace, to build up a staff, to build up the funds to renovate, fix the barn. But Clara's ideas are sound. So with time, the return of investment in this farm just keeps increasing. The first years are tough, but the ale is good. The herding pig idea works. So with a minimum staff, she can extract as much as possible from the farm. So the farm prospers and grows.
Can I ask, does she see any negative impact from the Vaesen leaving? Were there blessings that the Vaesen had been bringing which are really now noticeable for her, that she then attributes to something else, like the land changing or something?
Not for her, because she didn't really know how the farm operated with it.
Yeah.
She came back and started changing things right away. And this is where we goes to the other farm that has the Nisse. For a lot of years, that farm were successful, especially considering the effort needed to be put in by the farm owners and the farm hands. Basically, they could slack a bit because the Nisse was picking up that slack. So for Jens, it was a comfortable life. But time moves forward and stops for no one. So with coming generations, maybe Jens' daughter or perhaps grandchild, that's where not even a Nisse could keep up for the farm enough, following the Nisse and old ways. Because being even if a well-functioning, self-sustaining farm in the modern society that is evolving around the end of the 1800s, that is not enough. So one day, these conflicts will arise at that farm again. But that will be after your characters has left this earth. So peace for now, but not forever. So that's the epilogue in that aspect. And now I'm going to tell you about what makes this a Christmassy one, especially in the Swedish edition, because the Nisse, as it's called in the English version, is called Tomte or Gårdstomte in Swedish. So that is farm tomte, if you take a long word for it. And it's half of the word that we use for the Santa in Sweden, jultomte. And this is due to the Santa in Sweden, in Swedish history, is not the red, jolly Disney Coke Santa.
The Coca-Cola Santa, yeah.
No. This is a mix between the old Gårdstomte, the Nisse that brought the gifts, and the Yule goat that Jens impersonated. That's where the Swedish Christmas traditions originates. So we have a mix somewhere in between. Of course, today we have the red Coke Santa as well, as they have made it all across the world. But if you look at postcards or even julmust labels, that Santa on those pictures will look more like a Nisse. So if you Google julmust and does an image search, I think you will find one straight away.
Suddenly all of us looking up at the same time.
Yep.
I can't spell though.
No, doesn't matter.
And also, I have an image from Apothekarnes Julmus.
Yeah, that's, for instance, one of them.
Let me see if I can open this and share it on the screen for those who are watching.
And also, if you Google Jenny Nyström, you know, the O with the dots.
I'm not on my Mac, so that'll be almost impossible, but let's have a look. So here we have, if I can make that look a little bit better.
It's like a mini Santa.
Yeah.
Mini Santa, and it's not all that. This one is quite red to be one of the older versions of it. And there is, it's quite interesting because I'm running this scenario simultaneously with another group that are all Swedes, and they were suspecting the Nisse or Gårdstomte like 5 minutes after reaching the
What is this?
farm.
I'm showing on the screen now. Is this what you mean?
Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening only to the audio, we're sharing Jul med Jenny Nyström, and there's like
Jenny
three.
Nyström has got a lot of pictures because she made a lot of art in not exactly this style, but similar to this.
It's like 3 angry dwarves of the Tolkien style wearing Christmas hats, and it's like one of them stolen a piglet.
It's kind of like Noddy at a Christmas party.
Yeah, it's very Noddy-like. For anyone who knows the Noddy cartoons.
If Noddy had like triplets,
yes,
and they liked pigs.
Scary.
Yeah, and you've seen an old cartoon. I think it's called Gnomes or something like that.
Trolls.
Yeah, there are trolls and gnomes in it. Oh,
Maybe
not in England.
It probably has another name.
Yeah, and the Nisse or Gårdstomte, it's similar to the brownie from the English folklore or Scottish folklore, but not really. But that's the closest one I can think of from British folklore.
It's just
Because they were acting in the same way, living, helping out if you pay them their dues and
Offer them
tributes.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been such good fun. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, that's great.
I hope that those of you who've been watching have enjoyed the show. If you have, please let us know in the comments. Talk to us on Discord. Hit that like button and help us to get some XP. It always helps. And obviously, please do subscribe. We've got a few ideas of things coming up. We may see some more Vaesen. And there's a couple of other actual plays in the pipeline. Obviously, we have our weekly Kickstart Your Weekend every Friday, where we talk about crowdfunding games and gaming news and stuff. So please do tune in. Thank you once again to our wonderful GM, Joel Blom. And thank you to Chris and to Johnny for helping me to ruin what is otherwise a beautiful story. No, that was great fun. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I'm Phil. You can catch us on Discord and all the other social media things. The links will be down below. And I think probably here is a good place to wrap up. So thank you once again, everyone.
But before we go,
yes,
I don't know if anyone else watching this is as intrigued as I am. What would have happened if we had attacked the Grey Man? I want, I was wondering if the spider webs would have worked. Was if I'd have wrapped him around, would have held him there.
Spider webs would have stopped him.
Yeah,
That would have held him. Attacking him would have been bad because he's hella strong. Clara would not have survived if she got past you, because he was going to beat her to death with that stick he picked up, because she was threatening his home that you were in at the top of the barn. So she would have died. He could have been killed actually by that rusty nail that was from the barn, if put through the heart. So then you would probably first had to use the cobwebs in one way or another. Perhaps, being the trapper you are, building a trap with it or something. But I don't think you all three would have survived a physical encounter with him. Maybe none of you. But it
good thing
would
we
have
didn't try
been
that
possible.
So apologies to our friend and regular viewer, Bruce, for not having a TPK, because I know that's what he was hoping for.
Yeah, if you have tried to fight it, you might have.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Awesome. Let us know what you thought, everyone, of this show, of this scenario, and come and talk to us on Discord. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you very, very soon for our next venture into role-playing weirdness. The Dark Orb. Take care, everyone. Thank you.